Welcome to Take 5. I'm Sam Allberry. Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." A number of years ago, I had the opportunity of going caving. I was part of an English teaching team in Thailand, and some local friends invited us to join them. And it was terrifying. Now, I'm claustrophobic, so I don't like being in confined spaces anyway. And there were certainly some times where we had to literally get flat on our stomach and kind of push our way through these little narrow spaces. But that wasn't what was most terrifying. We all had our own flashlights and headlamps, but a couple of times they told us to turn everything off. And immediately we found ourselves in utter darkness. And when you're in utter darkness like that, it makes you realize that the darkness we're used to, the darkness of nighttime, isn't actually that dark. There's normally some lights coming in from the local kind of street lights, or there's the glow of devices charging, or machines on standby, or even just the night sky itself isn't actually that dark. There's lots of light pollution. And so normally, even at nighttime, we can still kind of feel our way around and sort of make out what's around us. But utter darkness is something very different. No light at all whatsoever. And according to Jesus, that describes the natural spiritual state that every single one of us finds ourselves in. Now, Jesus says, "I am the light of the world." And he's not just making a claim about himself, he's making a claim about us. He says, "I am the light of the world." He doesn't say, "I am a light of the world, and so are you, and so are you, and so are you." He says, "I am the light of the world." In other words, he is saying he is the only one who can shed spiritual light on our lives. He is the only one without whom we will be left in complete spiritual darkness. So what does it mean for Jesus to be the light of the world? Well, think about what you can't do without light. Without light, we can't see where we're going. And Jesus says that is the case for us spiritually, that spiritually on our own, we just don't know what is out there. We don't know what happens to us when we die. There is so much that is obscure to us. But more than that, without light, you can't see who you are. I'm sure all of us, when we get ready to leave at the beginning of the day, we will have a quick check of ourselves, make sure our breakfast isn't down our shirt, make sure we don't have toothpaste on our face. We need light to have that kind of self-awareness. And again, Jesus is saying that spiritually, on our own, we actually don't know what we look like. We don't know actually the way we truly are spiritually apart from Jesus. But there's one other thing you can't do without light, and that is truly understand what is right. There's a reason we have security lights. There's a reason we feel uneasy walking down a street in the darkness. We know that when people are in physical darkness, we do things that we know are not right. We feel as though the darkness is a kind of cover. It's a bit of our restraint is diminished. And so when we believe we can't be seen, we find ourselves doing things we would never do otherwise. And Jesus says that is the case with all of us. We lack the spiritual light to truly know how to live in the right way. So Jesus is actually saying we are naturally people who live in spiritual darkness, but he claims to be the light of the world. In other words, Jesus is saying what sets him apart, what makes him different, is that he is not from this world. His claim is that he has come down from heaven itself. And that is why he can say he is the light of the world. Well, that's all very well and good, but how do we know Jesus is the light of the world? There's a very, very simple test we can do. Try reading the words of Jesus. Try looking at the life of Jesus without feeling like you are being exposed. It's the character of Jesus' life and teaching that actually, as we encounter him, we feel like we are the ones who are being read. We are the ones who are being shed light on. We are the ones who are being exposed. But Jesus hasn't just come as light to expose us, he's come as light to lead us. And so we're not just to look at him in a sense of seeing what we're like, we're to follow him and to follow in his footsteps, because he is the light of the world.